Hello Virgo, welcome to your Moving On reading. Moving on is exactly that. The idea is if you identify as someone who is stuck, stagnant, not able to transform or move on from a situation, place, circumstance, etc. We want to take a look at that, see what it is, what the issue is, and how it is, and we indeed can move on. Do keep in mind this is strictly non-reversal. I will see surrounding influences, but such is true as life. Real tarot is actually meant to reflect the self, not someone else. But if it comes up, it comes up. But again, it's non-reversal. It's all about you. On that note, cross-watchers, you are welcome, of course. However, these Moving On readings tend to get very real. So if you came here with poor intent about Virgo or any other sign, looking for a reason to be angry, sign bashing, I'm not into it. Okay? Do keep in mind the kind of thing I see for Virgo today, I'll eventually get to your sign. All right? It always helps to keep in mind what someone else can say about us. So, moving on can be an in-depth reading in that respect. It can hit some hard places. Okay. And without a them or they dependent on. That is not, however, an excuse for anyone to unleash their worst in comments, be you for the collective or a cross-watcher of the collective. I pretty much keep the comments on out of courtesy at this point. So, let's try to be mindful, let's be respectful, and share our helpful thoughts, okay? Resonating thoughts, that kind of thing. The idea is to help each other. Show me Virgo, please, and they're moving on. Show me Virgo, please, and they're moving on energy. Show me Virgo, please, and they're moving on energy. Show me Virgo. Show me Virgo, and they're moving on energy, please. Oh, once more, I'm using the Dreaming Moons Tarot deck. What's going on, please, for Virgo? The Fool, beautiful. Addressing King of Cups, okay. Two of Cups, Seven of Wands, Strength is the Three of Cups, Four of Pentacles, outcome is the Four of Swords resting. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. They have some lovely elements here. There are things that you want to open up towards. There's a little bit of defensiveness in here. So starting with the Fool, what it is, moving on, or for you, it's looking like I'd like to open up and that would help me move forward or move on. We'll see, okay? First steps you need to take, something to do with the heart space, the King of Cups. Something that we need to open our heart towards in order to engage that Fool. If you want to move on or move forward, whatever that goal looks like to you, there's something in your heart space that needs to be engaged with in order to better understand that Fool energy, to really open up, move on, move forward, fresh eyes, fresh spirit, new beginning, whatever. You have to know that your heart's in it and in what direction is your heart speaking to you, okay? Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. Feelings that we need to confront, Two of Cups. There is something here that you feel towards someone else, and there's something within that dynamic of emotional distribution here with that Two of Cups that we need to understand. So the heart keeps coming up under question about if you really want to move forward, if you really want to open up, if you want to move on. There's something in the old heart space that really needs to be addressed first and foremost. Okay. It could be anything, not someone specific. It could be how you understand love to exist at all in terms of your particular love ideology or your love orientation, your particular love language. There might be something in there that you need to understand. Okay. Excuse me, Seven of Wands is hidden energy. You might not know this, but you might be unconsciously blocking yourself in some way, okay? Strengths, the Three of Cups, to connect, to reconnect, okay, to bring things together for emotional ease within you, around you, that kind of thing. You have the ability to bring things together in a way that's joyous, light, or harmonious, which is lovely. Four of Pentacles, lessons that must be learned about holding on, holding back, refraining when we should be moving forward when we should be refraining, how to give more, not less, not to be so stubborn about things, knowing when to let things go, knowing what's worth holding on to and why. These are all good lessons, okay? And then the future pathways, Four of Swords, that is resting, restoration, healing, quiet time, introspection, beautiful stuff, okay? So hopefully you're making progress here in what I'm saying and your effort to open up, move forward, okay? Show me that Fool, please, for Virgo. Show me that Fool, please, for Virgo. Show me that Fool, please, for Virgo. Ace of Swords, particular truth, manifestation, the Emperor. Wow, beautiful. Many of you are like right right? Listen to me right now, Christina. Listen to me right now. Are you listening? Yes, Virgo, I am. I like what you're saying, okay? But it's more important that you say it to you and that you know it. You're saying, I am manifesting a direction. I am manifesting my truth. I am standing in my power. No backing down. You know, you're Tom Petty at its highest volume. I won't back down. I won't back down. I won't back down. So I know what I want. I'm pulling it towards me. You have a particular truth burning inside you, and it sears your brain with knowledge. It's like, I am the master of my own destiny. What I say goes. I'm the emperor. Behold, I am standing in my power, and watch me manifest. So you have elements here that say, I know who I am, I know what I think, I know what I'm trying to do and accomplish, and it's beautiful. That's really good. It's so strong. It's very strong. It's very poignant. Wow. So the first step to getting here, so I can already see parts of you are pulling in from the universe. I already see parts of you standing in your power. I already see parts of your knowledge that you understand to be true. That in order to fully cross that particular rainbow bridge, if you will, we need to get in touch, something to do with our King of Cups self. Let's take a look at that King of Cups energy, please. Crossing that particular bridge. The fullness of your hearts. What it is that you are feeling, expressing, taking ownership of. Show me that King of Cups, please. Show me that King of Cups, please. The World. Nine of Pentacles. Okay. Two of Swords. Interesting. There is a little bit of hesitancy surrounding you. That's saying, I don't know if I can do all this by myself. Or that I want to. Feelings about that. We need to clear that up. The World, the Nine of Pentacles, the Two of Swords. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know that I can. So there's some self-doubt in here. And it's coming from a place of the heart. A part of you in your emotional space doesn't know if you can pull whichever this is off, if you can really be that open. If you can really be so self-empowered, can you really contain and live by such a solid truth that you're manifesting? So in that respect, honey, you do need to know what it is you're manifesting. If you just blind manifest, you don't know what you're going to get in return. So you're questioning about whether or not you can really stand in your own power to really achieve the best results for you. You need to know with absolute conviction that that's true. And you're just leaving out one piece, and as far as I can tell, it's your heart. Really believing in yourself. Okay, so I don't know what it is that you want to blast yourself open towards, but it looks beautiful, and it looks like a strong new beginning with you, with your sense of self, with your sense of, I'm going to achieve my highest possible good in this world, in this lifetime. And it looks like a really strong conviction, and I applaud you for that. There's only one quadrant that doesn't seem to be in alignment, and that's your heart space. You don't know if you can achieve all this fantasticness. I suppose, for a lack of a better word. So we want to get that heart space in order with the King of Cups here. Okay, what is it that you need to feel emotionally secure about this plan, you as an individual? You're saying, I don't know if I can actually pull this off in terms of my heart space. I don't know if I'm actually feeling like I'm in alignment with these magnificent goals. It's one thing to proclaim it. It's another thing to kind of know it. I feel empowered by this. Okay, it's a sharp image I have in my mind. How do I really feel about that, though? Yeah, we need to get more confrontational with ourselves on this. Part of you feels like you hesitate. Can I do this on my own? Do I really feel like I believe in myself? Right? Some of you are contemplating singledom. I have to throw that out there as a technicality, which is to suggest some of you might be an approximation to someone else, and you're wondering if you can do all this on your own. The answer is yes, but you have to believe it. Okay, but going back to that central point, you becoming like the best Virgo you can be, so bold and empowered. It won't mean much. All that conviction, all that stand up, do right energy won't mean much without the emotional conviction. So we need to take a look at that heart space. Do you believe in yourself from your heart? Not just your mind. I'm sure you have a sharp mind. Not just your sense of willpower. I'm sure you have a very strong willpower. I'm chuckling because it's like I've yet to meet a Virgo who didn't. So I find that to be a ludicrous question. And do you have this freshness around you with the Fool that's real, genuine, and sincere? Yes. The heart space, though. Do you feel you have confidence? Okay. And in which case, do you know your direction then? Really understand it. Our conviction doesn't mean too much without our heart behind it. So, something to get in alignment with. Otherwise, you have a darn good start to really opening up into whatever it is that you are wanting to do. How you want to perceive yourself. How you want to engage in this world. You have a very strong sense of self. And a blastness, fresh energy around you, within you. Let's jump on over here to that Two of Cups, please. Feelings to confront. Some of that Two of Cups, please. Some of that Two of Cups. Some of that Two of Cups. Some of that Two of Cups, please. Some of that Two of Cups, please, for Virgo. Feelings that you need to confront. The boldness of this, it's beautiful, but it's bright. It's adventurous, too, with the Fool. It's beautiful. I love this. This is great energy. But that heart, really believing in yourself, that you can do these things, that you can be this person, that needs to fall into place. I agree. Page of Pentacles, Judgment, Knight of Cups. Have you been investing in the right love opportunities? Ooh, that's a big one. Tis a big one. Tis what she said. Sorry, I'm still me. I'm still me. Moving on can be really serious readings, but I'm still me. Yeah. Have you been investing, Virgo honey, in the right realistic love? The kind of love that speaks to you, right? You can be so bold, you can be so strong-willed, you can be so smart, you can be so determined. But if you're not so confident in your feelings about you and how you relate to your feelings, it would make sense then that you can't help but contemplate the love that you have allowed in your life, the love that you have chosen in your life. Is that the best reflection of you? If you doubt your ability to love yourself, even a little bit, that's going to carry over into the relationships that you choose. And there's a critical lesson in there for you about feelings to confront. And I often say it, I'm sure you've heard me say it. Yours is interesting, though. We will afford the love that we believe we are allowed or that we see in ourselves. So if you are that Virgo who might be very strong-willed and bold and beautiful and just, but if you doubt your feelings and how you specifically relate to them, okay, it makes sense then that you've possibly developed questionable emotional relationships, ones that seemed like a good idea at the time with the investment, but perhaps didn't pan out well, you know. Did I make the right decision in love or past loves? I don't know if that applies to you currently or if that's just you kind of reflecting on your history of love with Judgment there. It could be a little bit of everything. Our lessons, our decisions. I'm not saying it tied to any one specific person. It's more like a comprehensive history of your love choices. And, you know, just because we are so bold and beautiful and intelligent doesn't mean we're necessarily pulling in from the best places of our heart, especially if we don't really trust ourselves in our heart space. So there's critical lessons in here for you about the love bonds you have chosen and you have participated in. Has it been kind of minuscule with that Page of Pentacles a little bit? Because maybe it felt safer? Because you felt perhaps it would grow more into time, but you felt confident at the time? Okay, to invest in it. Something to think about. Do you trust yourself in your love choices? Have you made good choices in love? Did they expand you in the right way? Do they allow you to express yourself? Do you feel in turn that you were loved completely? Things to think about. We'll see how that might tie in later. I have a sneaking suspicion about something. Hidden energies. 7 of Wands. You may not know this, but you could unconsciously be blocking something. Show me that 7 of Wands, please. Show me that 7 of Wands. Show me that 7 of Wands. Show me that 7 of Wands, please. Oh, interesting. 2 of Cups. It was dang, when I'm right, I'm right. I'll tell you what, I was going to say I know that those two are related, but I said, what did I say? I'll get back to something like that. The Two of Cups is 7-1, unconsciously blocking proper love as opposed to the love you felt was a good investment at the time. I see. Yeah, 8 of Wands, the Queen of Swords. Wow. Yeah. There's this kind of fixation, or at least I believe the Virgo I'm looking at, you have this kind of idea that because you chose it, it must be correct. And we're kind of unconsciously blocking proper love unions, or you might have a history of it. Because again, it goes back to the self. Everything goes back to the self, guys. So if you're offended by anything I'm saying today, this is probably where we should part ways. I'm doing the real stuff, okay? It's the reason why it's a non-reversal, so that we can really take a look at ourselves. And that's if you resonate, and if you don't, it's not your problem. There you go. Be glad. This really isn't too bad. But yes, I can see where it might have caused havoc in your love lives, and not just for love lives, guys, but anyone whom you have a love bond with, and that's family and friends, you know. Insisting that I keep at this particular one because I said that it's correct, not because I was feeling that it was. See the difference? That's the reflection of what we're talking about. We allow the love we feel we deserve. If you are not very comfortable with your own feeling, your own sense of heart space, you're going to pick somebody who probably reflects something similar, where the love is a little bit blocked, it's not very fluid, but you've both determined that it's correct. As opposed to something that actually feels more fluid, but we're not investing in it as much as we should. See what I'm saying? If you're that Virgo who identifies as, I'm not very comfortable with my feelings for myself, you're more likely to attach to someone who has a very similar disposition, and then you're both are going to feel a little more short in love, you understand? As opposed to something that could comprehensively bloom a lot more over time. Okay. We haven't put a lot of investment in that, into proper flowing love unions. Okay, but something that's like, no, this one's it because I said so. We've been a little firm about this, but it's been done at the unconscious level as far as I can tell. Your determination to pick that because it felt comfortable, no doubt, is there. Because you could communicate with it effectively, it didn't confuse you, so you're like, that must be it, right? What they say makes sense to me, and, you know, I feel a little something, that has to be right. This one has to be it. This has to be it. Okay. So, there's something in there for you about really moving on, really moving forward, really allowing yourself to blast open and take full possession of who you are. That includes your heart space, too. And I can tell that you've had some critical relationships in your life that are a reflection of, this could be good for you. It feels very fluid. Virgo, you're worth this one, but you're not as comfortable with your own particular feelings. So you're like, no. This one over here, because it talks to me well and I can understand it, that's love. And I'm not going to hear anything else. So, as far as I can tell, you're a Virgo who's really open. You're ready and open to experience the world to your highest, fullest self. There's just one piece of you that's missing. And the relationships that have come and gone in your life, okay, more on the intimate side, the ones that you are currently in or old ones, they're all reflection of you. And that heart space you're not terribly comfortable with. And they're pointing that out over and over again for a reason. Okay. 3 Cups is in your strengths, bringing people together for reasons of joy, for fun, spontaneity. 3 Cups. Show me that 3 Cups, please. Show me that 3 Cups. Show me that 3 Cups, please. Show me that 3 Cups. You have a very strong will, honey, and a very strong mind. And I can tell once you said this is correct for me, you really do believe it. But because you don't trust your feelings as much, you don't consult them as much. So I can kind of see where partnerships in the past, where if they just made sense to you intellectually up front and it communicated relatively well with you, you're like, okay, not very strong feelings here, but it makes sense to me. Right? Queen of Cups, 8 of Pentacles, the Hierophant. Oh, beautiful. Wow. I have a proposal here. I'm not trying to get into it in terms of that, but I have a potential proposal here for you. Strengths is that not only are you pretty good about bringing people together, that seems to be a comprehensive strength for you, It's funny how you can bring people together over states of union and rejoice, but when it comes to you, it's interesting. It's like you don't see that same, or you don't give yourself that same allowance. It's like if it feels too good, smooth, fluid, it can't be right for me. It's all right for other people, but maybe not for me. Right? That's a trust thing. Trusting yourself specifically to feel your feelings. Okay, cool. It's interesting. I just have a huge reflection on that for you because you seem to be so good at bringing people together. It's almost like you want other... Is that what that is? You want people to come together and celebrate in ways that you unconsciously don't choose. You want to see other people flourish in happiness and activity and love, where you're like, that's good for others. But me, I'm emperor. I don't really get to choose by my heart. But it's nice to see other people do it. Interesting. Anyway, back to this side note. I see you potentially connecting with somebody. And it has a very strong aptitude for fullness of heart. Someone who better represents that energy of love is work. Okay? Love is real work and work that comes from the heart. Okay? Love is something to be worked through from the heart, and if you want to put your best energy and effort into it, you have to know that it comes from the heart, which is interesting because that's what you showed me you had difficulty with in your opening. What really keeps you from fully stepping into the threshold that is you, the power structure that is you, is the one thing you said I'm just not very good at or I'm not very comfortable with. It's the one aspect about me, Christina, that I don't know if I can personally do, is allow myself to be guided by my heart. There's someone here whom you could potentially connect with that does exactly that. That's all they do. Apparently that's all they do, is like, I don't do anything without feeling it first, and that's made them successful. And they have, with the Hierophant here, there is a strong sense of, I could show you this. And it's in your strengths too to connect with this person or reconnect with them or to work through it with them. Kind of like a guide. It's like the piece that you're missing, honey. I got that in spades. Let me show you how to live and love and work and commit through the heart. You know. It's interesting. It's coming up as a strength. In other words, you know that that person's there in some capacity. Okay? Someone who represents a little bit more on the side of emotional fluidity. But it requires more than a Page of Pentacles and not so much of the logical, analytical, reasoning side, you know. And if you're in a habit of saying, well, those kind of loving, fluid communications or connectivities are for other people, not necessarily for me because I don't trust my heart space so much. I trust every other thing about me except that. I could kind of see where it's under your strengths to connect with it. It's your choice. They represent one of those lessons. Okay? To really connect from the heart. Work through it. To spiritually believe in it too with the Hierophant. Okay? It's beautiful. It's highly productive. It's highly productive. It's lovely. Anyway, it's not about a them or a they. I just know that they're there for you. And if we connect with this person, those lessons make sense to you. To live and work more through the heart and not just empowerment, sense of studiousness, stoicism, rationality. You have a little bit of an adventure streak in you too. Says you're open where you'd like to be. Perhaps a little bit more spontaneous as opposed to everything being thought out, predicted, etc. Lessons that must be learned in order to achieve success. Four of Pentacles, holding back, holding on. Chaining ourselves to people, places, things, situations, circumstance because we're not ready to let it go, but we don't see how it benefits us. Okay. Four of Pentacles, you got Six of Cups, Three of Swords, King of Swords, really having a hard time coming to a peaceful term in the heart about previous pain in the past. I'm seeing this as an open-ended concept. with the Six of Cups here, really hard for you to let go of relationships that aren't necessarily valid. Again, family, friends, it's fairly open-ended and comprehensive. A part of you always holds on to them. And part of us always holds on to our relationships and our connections, no matter what went down, quote-unquote, in it. The point is your comfort level with it, of having to part ways with a person, situation, place, or circumstance. You're not very comfortable with it because it evokes pain. Why does it evoke pain? Because you attack it with the King of Swords. And the King of Swords is kind of like saying, I don't have time for pain. I don't have time for pain. He won't make time for it. He doesn't want to because it hurts. So this is where we need to be more comfortable with our King of Cups energy. Okay, and understanding that sometimes things must pass out of our life. They're not worth holding on to. That doesn't necessarily negate the memories or the good emotions that were behind it, but it does help us become a lot more comfortable with ourselves and understanding that there are certain flows in this life. Some things we get to hold on to, and it feels good because they still serve a purpose, and there's other things that we're not supposed to hold on to, but we do it because we have a lot of unresolved pain, and that's because this guy, the King of Swords, is not good with handling rejection or a broken heart. He's just not good with it. Bless him. He's not good with it. He can rationalize it. You've already showed me that you have rationalization skills. That was never under question, honey. You're really opening to you. There's just one piece, as far as I can tell, that's otherwise ready to go. I'd say you're at like 90%. And there's that 10%, maybe more. Depends on how much you value the heart space. Like, say this person you potentially have the ability to connect with, and they can show you more about these things. They're probably like 80% functioning out of the heart. But everybody's element is different. You know, some people are air-oriented, some people are earth-oriented, water-oriented, that kind of thing. And it's all about your comfort zone with it. Okay, they have drawbacks too, like you do. Your strong-willed determination, this will not hurt me, has carried you very far, but it's also limited you to some degrees, and particularly in terms of your emotional availability to real authentic emotional relationships, and not ones that just look like they make sense on the surface. Okay, they don't look complicated, they're straightforward, it communicates with me effectively, there's no mystery here, there's no sense of disruption attached to it. It makes sense. 2 + 2, let's pick that one, as opposed to someone who's much more open, because you yourself are not comfortable being open from the heart. You see how it all plays together? So, excuse me, lessons that need to be learned. This guy, not so good with the pain. That's why it's been hard for you to move on from connections. You know, you got the worst guy handling intense feelings of sadness and pain. We really need to allow our King of Cups to express himself. Okay. We don't want to keep getting caught up in cycles, right? We develop connections that make sense at the time, or we foster those connections or keep them going, such as with family and friends, coworkers, whatever. Even though they don't particularly serve us, but we keep it going because we're not in tune with ourselves. And it makes it harder for us to allow new opportunities and possibilities in this life if we don't come to terms with our feelings for it, be they good or bad. It works both ways. All right, 4 swords in your future path, resting, healing. I hope that you connect with whomever that is. They seem to have, or potentially have, a good influence on you in terms of making yourself emotionally available, you know. It seems to be of spiritual consequence for your total Virgo package, I suppose. Page of Swords, the 4 of Cups, the Devil. Oh dear, not so good. Okay, but I see you resting on it, so that's good. So some of you are really looking at your emotional patterns. 4 Cups, Devil, I didn't say that too long ago. That's very strong emotional holding pattern. Not the easiest to break out of. So many of you are very uncomfortable with your feelings. Very uncomfortable. You really have relied upon rationality, practicality, okay, to foster your sense of development and self-empowerment. And there's nothing wrong with that. except for when we leave parts of ourselves off the table. And in this Virgo's world, you left your heart off the table for a number of reasons, mostly because of emotional dependency, fear of repeating patterns, fear of I'll get hurt, you name it. Disappointment over and over again. How some of you have been disappointed in your love. And again, not just spouses and relationships, guys. It's anyone whom you can share a cup with. And it usually begins with family first. Particularly if I'm seeing a very old emotional pattern here. Some of you learned very early on from like the cradle that emotions are not easily to be trusted with the people who are immediately near you. And it created a fear complex. Don't put too much of myself out there. Don't feel too much. Particularly don't feel too much. Some of your heart spaces are underdeveloped. Not because you're a bad person, but because you had no reason to put much faith in it. Or store in it. Probably from a very young age. Okay? And you know, as the Morse is like, don't be so sensitive, Virgo. Or don't cry, be a man. Or be a big girl. Whatever it is. Suppress, suppress, suppress. Don't trust your emotions. Don't trust your emotions. Don't trust your emotions. So you might have grown up to be big and strong, loud and proud, self-empowered. I'm intelligent. I'm forthright. I am stand up, do right. I'm strong-willed. Get out of my way. I believe all that. You have one major flaw. And it's ironic because it's probably the one you grew up with that somebody somewhere told you was a flaw when it wasn't. You don't seem to value feelings as in terms of a form of empowerment. You seem to view feelings as a form of weakness. And that's why you're like, I don't know if I can really believe in myself from a heart place. I don't know if I can trust my own feelings. In fact, so much so that it's just easier for you unconsciously to block true emotional fluidity and kind of stick to what you know. And that's like data, communication. I'm looking at you, you make sense. I'm mildly attracted to you. And yeah, there seems to be some softness between us, so let's go with that. Okay, whereas we've had opportunities to really invest in true emotional partnerships and we're like, meh. Scary. When we say, I can't trust the feelings, feelings make me weak, it reflects in the relationship. So again, you choose the love that you believe you're worth. You allow the love that you as self allow for you. Everything begins with the self. So if you don't trust your feelings, and if you don't give yourself much in terms of emotionality, loving yourself, being kind to yourself, being compassionate to yourself, this all comes from the heart. Why would you choose other people who were like that? So I see you looking at all this. So to your credit, you are doing your best to heal it. It starts out as a small thing. Okay? As far as I can tell in terms of you moving on, it's really just more like you opening up to the best possible Virgo you can be. And as far as I can tell, there's just one piece in your particular story that could do with some serious adjustment. And it's the biggest one by far. It's the Virgo I'm looking at. You've been irritated because you already know. Even if it's way down there, you know. You know what I'm saying. It resonates with you, and you felt it, but not really. Again, the Virgo I'm looking at, you're not too comfortable with that. But you suspect it. It's not your fault. It really isn't your fault. Okay? I can tell this is as old as the day is long. You know, we're given the foundations we're given as kids and the platform, if you will. And as we mature in age, at some point we are responsible for taking over that particular building project. So, if, let's say, from the very cradle, you were told from the beginning that emotions make you weak, you can't trust them, you can't trust other people's emotions, okay? Be strong, don't cry, whatever the hell that means. That wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. Our influences are influences. We have no say what we're born into. But at some point, you consciously took over building the project and started saying, you know what, feelings do make me weak. Somebody somewhere broke my heart once and it hurt too bad. I'll never let it happen again. I'm King of Swords from now on. And he's going to be in charge of all my feelings, and that I don't have them. I refuse to feel pain. And I refuse to get involved in anything that feels too good because it might fuck me over. And that's anti-empowerment. Wrong. Anti-empowerment is denying parts of us. That means we're inauthentic. But it's a coping mechanism to prevent more pain or not to have to feel any more pain than we already have. You understand? So at some point, you're responsible for taking the tools and continuing on that building project, but you don't have to, honey. You don't have to. You say emotions are weak. No, that's the idea in and of itself that will make you weak, not actual emotions. People who are emotionally strong, like I identify as being emotionally strong, I can get through pain a lot faster because I'm not as likely to reject it. Yeah, you get a lot of crying, but at least your crying's up front and out of the way. You know, you spend the tears, and the more you spend those tears, you realize I don't need as many now because I'm running dry on this particular subject. Time to wrap it up. That's the benefit of getting your tears out of the way. You know, or the pain and the aches, etc. You know, so I know it took you, honey, it gave you a very commanding will, strong sense of self, I don't deny that. But you're not as strong as you think you are. It's ironic, but not ironic. The very thing that you thought would make you weak, in fact, makes you more weak. At least in here. No one should feel that emotionally insecure about themselves. Your King of Swords should not be handling your pain. Your Queen of Swords should not be handling what relationships you choose to get into because it seems safe and easy and uncomplicated on the upfront, never mind the feelings behind it, or absence of. Okay? Okay, let's get some advice, please. But yes, in the future I see you healing on these very constructive concepts, and I just, in the point of view, really moving forward in your life, this particular area does need to be looked at, I agree. Advice, please for Virgo. Ten of Cups, Page of Pentacles, King of Pentacles. You can absolutely invest in something larger. You can, and that begins with you. I need you to invest in you more. Okay? Page of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, particularly in respect to your own sense of feeling and in the greater dynamic in the scheme of things. You are part of something more comprehensive. There are people in this world who love and care about you. I want you to see that, and I want you to invest in yourself knowing it feels good. Okay? Allow yourself to feel the good feelings of what exists around you, who supports you, who loves you, so you can feel good about you. Incorporate those positive feelings that do exist, that are in your world, and the more that you show gratitude for the emotional abundance, this is an emotional support system, family, friends, people who really love you. Allow that to make you feel good. Put stock in it. Put investment in it. You will always be your best investment. If you want to be more comprehensive and really this heavyweight champion I see over here, I need you to allow more feelings for yourself, that they are good and that they are right and that they are worthy of the investment, starting with you and what already surrounds you. And you'll take it from there as you develop more and more into that. Okay. Oh, yes. Any significant timing, please? Part of you wishes to be part of something so much more emotionally bigger. Last July might have been interesting. This upcoming July might be significant as well. Summertime for some of you might have been very important. I don't know why, but it's come up twice. July and summertime might have been very important for some of these reflections, and it's going to be an ongoing job, guys. We're never really done with ourselves. We will be our own biggest investment as well as our own biggest project. We will never be done with ourselves. You know, they say the hardest language you will ever learn is your own. And you're like, no, I know how to speak my language. Well, it's always changing and evolving. So just when you think you know one, you really don't. It's always changing, it's always evolving, and so too is the human being. You're not meant to stay the same, and you're not meant to have the same beliefs and ideologies, especially if they work against you, not for you. The more they work against you, the more obligation you have is to disavow those tools you were given and saying, thank you, I understand you did the best you could, but these tools are not for me. I need to find the tools that do work for me. Okay? And you learning to love yourself more. Okay? And you allowing love to enter your life, starting with what's already there, your immediate support circle. Like I said, there is a potential here in your strengths to connect and or reconnect with somebody who embodies these very things. This is going to go into a different place, and I'm not exploring it, but it is here. And I just want you to know that's here. This seems to be a good representation of things that we were talking about today, and I would encourage you to connect with this person, whomever they are. Okay, Virgo honey, you put in the comments as you see fit. I do hope this helped you. Take care. Be well.